My name is Camila. I am 31 years old. I live in San Diego, a big coastal city in the United States. I work as a florist in a small flower shop near the beach. My life is quiet. I open the shop every morning. I arrange flowers. I help customers. In the evening, I go home to my small apartment. I drink tea, read books, and sometimes walk near the sea. I have one close friend. Her name is Emma. She lives near me. We meet often and talk about life. I was not looking for love. After a few bad relationships, I told myself I would stay alone for a while. I didn't want more pain. I wanted peace. But sometimes love comes when you are not ready. That is what happened to me. His name was Robert. He came into my flower shop on a Monday afternoon. He wanted a bouquet for his office. He was polite and calm. He had soft eyes and a warm smile. He asked me about flowers. I told him which ones were fresh. He listened to me. He didn't rush. Most people are in a hurry, but he was different. Before he left, he smiled and said, "Thank you, Camila. You made my day better." The next week, he came again. This time, he bought flowers for his daughter's school play. We talked again. He asked if I liked working with flowers. I told him I did. He asked if I grew up in San Diego. I said yes. I liked that he asked questions. He seemed to care about the answers. He came often after that, sometimes once a week, sometimes twice. We started to talk more. He told me about his job. He worked in a small office downtown. He said his life was busy and a bit lonely. I told him about my flower shop and my friend Emma. We laughed sometimes. Our talks felt easy. After a while, he stayed longer each time. One evening, he came right before closing. He helped me carry boxes. He stayed while I cleaned the floor. I made tea, and we sat in the back room. It felt warm and quiet. He told me, "This place feels like home." I smiled. I didn't know what to say. But inside, I felt something. A small light in my chest. I started to wait for his visits. Robert was kind. He remembered my favorite flowers. He brought me coffee on cold mornings. He made jokes when I felt tired. He even helped me once when my car would not start. I felt safe with him. I began to care about him. Maybe I was falling for him. I didn't want to, but I was. After 2 months, he asked if I wanted to have dinner. I said yes. We met at a small restaurant near the beach. It was a nice evening. We talked for hours. I felt happy. I had not felt that way in a long time. At the end of the night, he walked me to my car. He held my hand for a moment. My heart felt warm. We started seeing each other more, sometimes after work, sometimes on weekends. We didn't tell anyone. It felt like a quiet secret. I didn't mind. I liked the time we spent together. It felt real and soft, like a dream I didn't want to end. But then one day, everything changed. It was a Saturday afternoon. I was helping Robert clean his car. His phone rang. He walked away to take the call. I didn't mean to look, but the screen lit up. It said, "Call from Laura. Wife." My heart dropped. I stood still. I felt cold all over. Wife? I did not know he was married. When he came back, I didn't say anything. I waited. I needed to hear the truth from him. That evening we sat on a bench near the sea. The sky was pink, and the air was cool. I looked at him and asked, "Are you married?" He looked down. He didn't speak right away. Then he said, "Yes, I am." I felt like the world stopped. I could hear the waves, but everything else was quiet. My chest hurt. "I didn't want to lie," he said. "But I didn't know how to tell you. My marriage is not good. We live in the same house, but it's not love. I stay for my children. They are still young." I didn't know what to say. I stood up and walked away. My heart was beating fast. I felt like crying. That night I couldn't sleep. My mind was full of questions. Why didn't he tell me? Was any of it real? But I also remembered his smile, his kindness, his words. I was angry, but I missed him too. I was confused. The next morning he sent me a message. "I'm sorry. I miss you." I didn't reply. Emma came to visit me that day. I told her everything. She looked sad and held my hand. "You need to think about yourself," she said. "You need to ask if this is what you really want." For many days, I didn't see Robert, but I thought about him all the time. I cried alone. I looked at my phone. I waited, and after a week, he came to the shop again. "I still care about you," he said. "I know this is wrong, but I don't want to lose you." We talked. I told him I was hurt. I told him I felt like a fool. He didn't argue. He said, "I understand." And then I made a choice. I stayed. I know what you may think. You may think I made a mistake, that I should have walked away. Maybe you are right. But at that time, I wanted to believe him. I wanted to believe he would leave his wife one day. I told myself that maybe I could be more, not just the other woman, but the one he would choose in the end. We started seeing each other again, but it was all in secret. He came to my apartment once or twice a month. He never stayed too long. We never went out together. We never took pictures. I told no one. Only Emma knew. She didn't judge me, but I could see the worry in her eyes. At first, I felt happy. He brought me flowers. He made dinner. We laughed. We watched movies. I told myself that love was enough, that even if I had to wait, it would be worth it. But slowly, things began to change. I waited more. I smiled less. I stayed home alone while he went back to his family. I stopped reading. I stopped walking by the sea. I started to forget who I was before him. Days turned into weeks. Robert still came to see me. Sometimes once a week. Sometimes less. When he was with me, I felt happy. He brought my favorite food. He played soft music. He kissed my forehead and called me beautiful. But when he left, I felt empty. The room felt too quiet. My heart felt heavy. He never talked much about his wife, but I knew he still lived with her. I knew he had 2 small children. Sometimes he showed me their photos. They looked happy. That made me feel strange. I wanted to be kind, but it also made me feel forgotten. I was not part of that world. I was only a secret. I didn't ask too many questions. I didn't want to make him upset. I told myself to wait. I told myself that maybe one day he would leave her. Maybe one day he would choose me. But as time went on, I stopped feeling sure. He always said the same thing. It's not the right time. The children are still small. She is not well. He had many reasons, but never a plan. I started to feel tired. I waited for his texts every morning. I stayed home in case he came by. I made my life small. I stopped going out with Emma. I stopped joining her on weekend walks. She asked me if I was okay. I always said yes. But I was not okay. I missed who I used to be. I used to laugh more. I used to feel free. Now I just waited for his messages, for his visits, for his love. One night I sat alone in my room. I looked at the flowers on my table. They were from him. I touched the petals. They were dry. I had not watered them. I had not cared for them, just like I had not cared for myself. I looked at my phone. No messages. I wanted to text him. I wanted to say, I miss you. But I didn't. Instead, I put on my coat and walked to the beach. It was cold. The wind touched my face. The sky was dark, but the moon was bright. I sat on a bench and listened to the waves. I thought about love. I thought about hope. I asked myself, is this real love? Or is it just a wish? That night I went home and cried. I cried into my pillow. I cried because I loved him. But I also cried because I felt lost. I was in love, but I felt lonely. I had someone, but he was never fully mine. The next morning he sent a message. I miss you. Can I see you tonight? I said yes. I always said yes. He came to my apartment with a smile and a bottle of wine. He hugged me. He kissed me. He said, "You're all I think about." But I didn't smile like I used to. Do you ever think about us? I asked. He looked confused. What do you mean? I mean, what is this? What am I to you? He sat down. He didn't speak right away. Then he said, "You are important to me, Camila. You know that." "But am I just a secret?" I asked. He looked down. "It's not easy. I have children. They need me." I felt the tears in my eyes. I tried not to cry. "I know," I said, "but I need someone too. Someone who chooses me." He took my hand. "Please don't leave me," he said. "I love you." I looked at him. I wanted to believe him. I wanted those words to be true. Maybe they were, but love is not just words. Love is action. Love is truth. Love is light, not shadow. That night I didn't sleep. Again. In the morning I went to the flower shop early. I opened the door, turned on the lights, and sat behind the counter. I looked at the flowers around me. They were full of color, but I felt gray inside. Emma came to visit later that day. She brought coffee and a small cake. "You look tired," she said. "I am," I said. She sat with me in the back room. I told her everything. I told her how I felt. "I think I'm losing myself," I said. "I don't laugh. I don't smile. I don't feel like me." Emma looked at me kindly. "I'm your friend, Camila. I won't tell you what to do, but I want to ask you something. Do you feel loved? Do you feel safe? Do you feel seen?" I didn't answer. I just cried. "Love should not feel like this," she said. "Love should make you feel more alive, not less." I knew she was right, but I also knew it was hard. I had given so much of my heart to Robert. I didn't want to lose him, but I also didn't want to lose myself. That night, I didn't reply to his message. He sent another one. "Is everything okay?" I didn't answer. He called. I didn't pick up. For 3 days, I stayed quiet. I went to work. I walked by the sea. I drank tea. I tried to rest. On the 4th day, he came to the shop. He looked tired. His hair was messy. His eyes were sad. "Camila, please talk to me," he said. I looked at him. I wanted to run into his arms, but I stood still. "I need time," I said. "I need to think." "Think about what?" he asked. "About us. About me. About what I want." "Don't do this," he said. "We have something special." "I know," I said, "but I'm always waiting. I'm always second, and I don't want that anymore." He looked hurt. "I love you," he said. "I believe you," I said. "But that's not enough now." He reached for my hand, but I stepped back. "I need space," I said. "Please." He didn't fight. He didn't shout. He just looked at me for a long moment. Then he walked out of the shop. When the door closed, I sat on the floor and cried. I cried not because I was weak, but because I was strong enough to say what I needed. That night, I wrote in my notebook. I wrote about love. I wrote about pain. I wrote about hope. I didn't know what would happen next, but I knew one thing. I wanted my life back. After Robert left the shop, I sat alone for a long time. The lights were still on. The flowers looked soft and bright, but I felt tired. I had not felt peace in many months. That day, I decided to take a break. I told my boss I needed time off. She understood. I packed a small bag and took the train to visit my aunt, who lived in Santa Barbara. The train ride was quiet. I watched the sea outside the window. I saw the waves. I saw birds flying. For the first time in a long time, I felt calm. My aunt lived in a small house near the hills. She made tea, cooked soup, and asked no hard questions. She just sat with me. At night, I slept without dreams. During the day, I read books and walked in the sun. One afternoon, I sat on a bench near a garden. A young couple walked past me. They were holding hands. They were smiling. I felt a soft pain in my heart. I wanted love too, but I wanted the right kind of love. I didn't want to be hidden. I didn't want to be someone's second choice. When I came back to San Diego, I felt a little stronger. I cleaned my apartment. I opened the windows. I bought fresh flowers. I sat in the sun and read my old journal. I saw how sad I had been. I saw how much I had given and how little I received in return. I started to see the truth more clearly. Robert still sent me messages. Sometimes he wrote, "I miss you." Other times, "Can we talk?" I didn't answer. I didn't block him, but I didn't reply either. I needed to be alone with my thoughts. I needed to find myself again. Emma was happy to see me. She hugged me tight. "You look better," she said. "I feel better," I told her. We went for coffee and talked about simple things. We laughed again. I had missed her. I had missed laughing. A few weeks later, I was walking by the bookstore near the beach. I saw a small sign in the window. It said, "Writing Group. New members welcome." I stood there for a moment. Then I went inside. The next Tuesday, I joined the group. We sat in a circle and shared short stories. The room was warm. The people were kind. I listened more than I spoke, but I liked it. It gave me something new to hold. That is where I met Adam. He was tall and quiet. He wrote about nature and travel. He spoke softly and always looked people in the eye. After one meeting, he walked beside me to the café. "You have a soft voice," he said, "but your words are strong." I smiled. "Thank you." We started talking after each meeting. Nothing serious, just friendly words, but I felt safe around him. He never asked too many questions. He never rushed me. One evening, we both stayed late after the group. We walked by the sea. The sky was dark, and the stars were bright. I told him a little about my past. I was with someone who couldn't choose me, I said. It made me feel small. He didn't look shocked. He just nodded. I'm sorry, he said. No one should feel that way. That night, I went home and didn't cry. I didn't miss Robert. I didn't wait for a message. I just felt calm. Adam and I kept seeing each other. Slowly. No pressure. No secrets. We walked. We talked. He brought me tea when I felt sick. He helped me fix a broken chair. He made me laugh. He made me feel like myself. One Saturday, he came to the flower shop. He waited outside until I finished work. Then we walked to the park. Do you want to have dinner with me tonight? He asked. I said yes. That dinner was simple. We made pasta at my apartment. We talked about books. We played soft music. And when he left, he said, You're special, Camila. I'm happy I met you. His words stayed with me. They were not heavy. They were light and kind. Weeks turned into months. I saw Robert's name on my phone less and less. He stopped sending messages. I think he understood. There was nothing left to say. One Sunday morning, I cleaned my closet. In a small box, I found a photo. It was of me and Robert. We had taken it in secret. I looked at the picture for a moment. Then I put it in the trash. I did not cry. I felt ready to let go. Later that day, I walked to the beach with Adam. We sat on a bench and watched the water. Do you still think about him? He asked gently. Sometimes, I said. But not with pain. That's good, he said. I looked at him. You make me feel safe. He smiled. That's all I want. We didn't say more. We just sat there, side by side. It was quiet. It was real. It was honest. Looking back now, I don't hate Robert. I think he was lost, just like I was. But I learned something important. I learned that love is not real when it's hidden. Love is not kind when it hurts. Love is not true if it only comes in the dark. Real love feels safe. It feels free. It lets you grow. Now, I wake up and feel calm. I go to work with peace in my heart. I meet Emma for coffee. I write in my journal. I spend time with Adam. I smile more. I laugh often. I'm not waiting anymore. I'm living. If someone asked me today, was it worth it? I would say yes. Because through all the pain, I found myself again. And that is the greatest love of all. We all go through hard times, but stories like this can help us feel seen. Thank you for watching, and come back for more real moments.